Welcome. Today I will be paraphrasing, summarizing, and sharing for the December 2nd Al-Anon readings, Encouraged to Change, and a little time for myself. We'll begin with the Serenity Prayer and 3 mindful breaths. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. I'll take a moment to look this over. The question of the day is, how have I been changed by listening to an Al-Anon member's experience that was different than mine? The passage is about an older person who struggled to listen to younger people share at the meetings because this person felt that the way they communicated was offensive because they swore and such. When their sponsor mentioned it to them and suggested that they focus on principles rather than personality, so this person did that and came to understand that one young person in particular gave this person great insight into what it was like growing up in an alcoholic home, and gave this person a greater understanding of their own children, who I guess were a similar age. The younger person also showed the older person different ways to apply the steps. So the slogan "Principles over Personalities" really applied in this situation. Today's reminder reminds us that how we practice our program is much more important than other factors that may make us seem different at meetings. The quote is from How Al-Anon Works for Families and Friends of Alcoholics, and it reminds us that help can come through any form, any person. So back to the question, how have I been changed by listening to an Al-Anon member's experience that was different than mine? I think that just being open and listening, I think that no two experiences are exactly the same. So listening to other people articulate how they feel and what their experience, past, current, has been or is, makes me have a more open mind, be more flexible, have more knowledge. My perception changes because I have received the honor of listening to people's vulnerable thoughts. And so whenever I hear shares at meetings, I feel like it's a very sacred time because people are in their most authentic form. They're talking about things that can be life or death, things that are very close to their heart. They're talking about things that very many times apply to the people that are most important to them in this world. So, listening to other people's experiences is very humbling. It's just an immense honor, an absolute honor. And when people describe things that I have no experience with, I feel like I've been given a gift because they've let me understand something that I would not have known based on my own life. So that's how I feel about it. How have you been changed by listening to an Al-Anon member's experience that was different than yours? Love this book. I say that all the time. I love this book too. I've loved this book for a long time. All right, I'm just going to take a moment. I'm noticing I write special people in my lives whose birthdays are on specific days. I write them in my Courage to Change. And today is my friend Val, who I worked with for many, many years, and also my sponsor. I'm not even going to say her name because she's in the program. But happy birthday, my sweet, sweet sponsor. I love you so much. All right, I'm going to read now. This reading is about not taking other people's inventory and focusing on ourselves. This passage describes making a mental list of a loved one's limitations and how it leads to a false sense of control and ends up leading to resentment and disappointment because we have no control over other people ever. So the last part of the reading says, what if I took that list of criticisms and applied it to myself? Fascinating. And I've heard it said that we often notice in other people what we want to change in ourselves. So today's reminder mentions the slogan, let it begin with me. When we see something in someone else that we don't like, we can look at ourselves And when we focus on ourselves and we change ourselves, we have an impact on our world. That's what it says right here. I'm not making that up. The quote is from This is Al-Anon. It says, peace of mind can be reached when we do an honest personal inventory. And that can seem very daunting. So before I had a sponsor, I did it with my therapist. And then when I got a sponsor, I did it again with my sponsor. And both were helpful. The second time, I think I went a little deeper because I was dealing with someone in Al-Anon. And my sponsor, God bless her, she would question me and guide me to go deeper. And what an amazing experience. And now I do that on some level every day, working step 10. And it's a great way to kind of maintain that level of awareness and freedom from shame and guilt. Just doing the inventory, working on what I need to work on, with the understanding that I will always be imperfect, but the fact that I'm aware and I'm working on things just shows that I'm doing the best I can. We'll close out with the serenity prayer and 3 mindful breaths. Here we go. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference. Thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow. Sending you love. Take care.